mean. We're back on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
2 more hours we're hanging out with you all morning.
That's what we get for ad-libbing. In this hour, the Lions and Chiefs, someone's going to pick that up, are getting their playoffs started today. How the Commanders and Texans, though, can make it a one and done and pull off major upsets on the road. Louis Riddick was his thoughts there. Plus, Desmond Howard back live from Atlanta. And all he needs is love. Why he thinks Notre Dame's big back is one key to stopping Ohio State's quest. My kids call me Big Back.
Big back, big
one
back.
of Duke's finest is here to break down the Blue Devils' big run. What's impressing Jay Will the most about his alma mater's win streak?
Let's kick things off with the divisional weekend. Chiefs, well rested, hosting the Texans on ESPN and ABC. Patrick Mahomes looking to stay perfect in divisional round games. He's 6-0 all time. 13 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions in this round of the playoffs. Okay, KC, a team, they've won their last 7 playoff games, tied for the 3rd longest streak in NFL postseason history, behind only the early 2000s Patriots and the 60s Packers. As for the Texans, 0-5 all time in the divisional round, including the 2019 divisional loss to those Chiefs when Houston was up 24-0 before Patrick Mahomes happened. Louis Riddick happening right now, hanging out with us this morning and throughout the show. Louis, fantastic to see you. What is the blueprint, if any, the Texans must follow in order to pull off a monumental upset?
Look, I think first and foremost, when you're going on the road like this, winning the turnover battle has to be priority number one. For CJ, he has to protect the ball better than he did in their first matchup when he went in their Arrowhead. So that just means, look, no extra possessions for Kansas City, no giving them any short fields, and make sure once they get in the red area in particular, he has to be like a surgeon. He has to be like a surgeon when he's throwing the football. Nico Collins is going to have to play a big role in that. He's a big target down there. They move him around. They're creative with him. He has to continue to be that way. And Joe Mixon is going to have to find a way to be a factor, both running the football and catching the football out of the backfield. It has to be 6. They cannot settle for 3. And then on the defensive side of the football, it's got to be about communication, man. They got to make sure that they're not turning anybody loose with the way Kansas City is very creative as far as creating mismatches and creating confusion. And they have to tackle. Patrick is going to use his legs. A lot of things that they have to get done, but they're more than capable of doing it.
Houston picked off Justin Herbert 4 times last week, so they're certainly not going to be lacking confidence coming into this game, but stepping up a weight class, taking on Patrick Mahomes. On the other side, the Chiefs side of things, let's talk about Travis Kelce. 13 straight playoff games with at least 70 yards. Louis, how do you anticipate KC using him today?
See, like I was talking about with Houston, right, as far as making sure they communicate and make sure that they are assignment sure. Kansas City's going to try and really mess with that, and they'll mess with that by formation variation, getting Travis off the ball in particular, and allowing him to get some free access down the field. When you put Travis on the line or keep him in the core and people can get their hands on him, that's where he struggles. So they're going to move him around. You'll see him in the backfield. You'll see him in motion. You'll see him in stacks and bunches, especially when they are anticipating man coverage. You're going to see a lot of rub routes, a lot of situations where it's just good old-fashioned basketball. They're going to try and create some situations where he can weave his way through traffic and beat man coverage. And look, Travis knows how to play backyard football better than anybody.
Sure.
So anytime Houston is in zone coverage, you're going to see him sit down, find the voids, and him and Patrick will just go to work. It's a tough task. That's why he's a surefire Hall of Famer. But again, this is part of what DeMeco Ryans knows they have to get done if they want to win this game and pull off the big upset.
And we are closing in to that 4-hour Eastern time kickoff. That is the AFC game, Louis, that we're going to see today. Louis going to break down that NFC game in just moments. Randy, what you got?
I got a nightcap here. The 1 seed in the NFC, the Lions of Detroit, have been waiting for this. Now here come the Commanders. The Lions are rolling offensively. They were one of the top offensive teams in all of football, in all of the regular season, leading the league in points per game, ranking 2nd in yards per game. Detroit's also aggressive defensively now, blitzing on 37% of opponent dropbacks this season. That is the 2nd highest, to be sure. I want to start with Jayden Daniels, but one of the great stories in the league this season. How do you put into perspective the impact he's had already?
I mean, really what he is, he's like culture in a bottle. If you could literally go to a convenience store and be like, look, I need some culture, man, it would be like it would be Jayden Daniels kind of smashed into a bottle, because that's what he has really brought to Washington. What he has done is he has changed the entire conversation around there from, man, I hope we're just competitive this year, to now it's about expectations, about winning division titles, about winning conference titles, about, dare I say, could we get back to the Super Bowl like we used to do back in the glory days of Joe Gibbs? He has infused all of that into that organization, into that building, into that region in a way that they have not seen in a long, long time. And I know people automatically go, well, what about RG3? It's different. It's different. This kid is and that's not to take anything away from RG3 or be disrespectful to him. Mm-hmm. This kid's passing is on another level. His leadership is on another level. The way in which he has galvanized this entire organization is on another level. There is no split. There is no, well, one faction of the building wanted one guy, one faction of the building wanted another guy. It is all in alignment right behind Jayden Daniels. And that is something that, look, that's something that rivals, it's what Patrick Mahomes did to Kansas City once he really took hold of the reins down there. He's going to have that same effect in Washington. And I know that sounds huge, and that sounds like outlandish expectations to put on a rookie, but that's what they're looking at down there because that's how special this young man is.
I mean, the team has 12 wins to this point, and Jayden Daniels has certainly been elite against the blitz, and Detroit blitzes a ton. So if you're Aaron Glenn, you're the DC there for the Detroit Lions, what should your approach be tonight?
Well, I think first, as far as, when the blitz is coming, you want to disguise it. You don't want to give Jayden answers to the test any sooner than you have to, because he has shown you that he is very much so way down the road as far as his maturity and his ability to recognize what's coming, use his tremendous athletic ability and then that lightning quick release to beat it if he can identify it pre-snap and understand where he needs to go with the football. So that's what you want to do. Number one, you want to disguise it. Number two, you want to get as many free runners on him as possible. And Aaron Glenn is as good as any at attacking protections and making sure that he always has one extra and or he messes up the communication within the protection so he has a free runner on Jayden. Because if they can block it up and just give him an inkling of time, he has shown you that he'll either beat you with his arm or he'll just take off if you don't have rush lane integrity and he'll just burn you. Because then he's just going to find that outlet and he's going to use that wonderful 4.4, 4.3 speed. And again, I mean, these are kind of things that usually are reserved for a guy who's played 4 or 5 years, who's seen a whole bunch of different things, and you're sitting there talking about how challenging it is to go up against him. We're talking about a rookie, man. Yeah. We're talking about a rookie who isn't necessarily surrounded with a whole bunch of high-powered, support. Although Terry McLaurin, obviously, Zach Ertz, these guys have been fantastic for him. His development this year is otherworldly. Aaron knows what he's up against, and I promise you, Jayden better be ready because he's going to be bringing it from every angle imaginable to make sure he unsettles this young rookie for sure.
And I always said 12 wins as regular season. Daniels has 13 wins now all told, and has tied for the second most by a rookie quarterback behind only Big Ben Roethlisberger. That is Louis Riddick with the insight on SportsCenter.
Time to crown a national champion, Ohio State.